Hi everyone, in this video we will have a look at how to deploy automations in Monkedo. If you didn't watch our video about how to create automations, I highly recommend you to watch it first. You can find the link in the description. Let's get started. Let's create a new automation. Click the Create Automation button again. For this example, the automation will be automatically triggered when an event happens in an app. Let's say that you have created a form and people can use this form to submit issues. Also, you are using a task management application to organize your work. Whenever you receive a form submission, you want a new task to be assigned to your team. Let's start by adding the trigger component. We want our automation to start working when any form submission is received. Click the trigger category and search for the form app you use. We will use JotForm. Here we have a trigger component for new form submissions. Again, you start by connecting your account. After you connect your account, you will see that the inputs are ready. We need to select a form to monitor. I create a feedback form like this. It accepts a short title about the issue, a description, and also an email for contact. I will use this form in this example. Let's select this form. After all inputs are ready, you can click the Listen to Events button. This button is shown only for trigger components and it allows you to receive events in the editor and work on them. When you click it, Monkedo will automatically create example events for you to work on based on previous form submissions. You can select them in the results section. If you don't see examples here or if you want to work on new event data, you should submit a new form submission on JotForm. After that, Monkedo will automatically cache the event and show it here. When you select an event, event data will be shown below. Now the trigger component and example event data is ready. We can move on to the action component. Click the action category. There are many task management apps integrated with Monkedo. We will use Trello for this example and select Create Card component. I will place it next to the trigger component. Again, we set up the inputs. Connect your Trello account. Select the board where the card will be created. Now, we need to set a name for the card. I want to use the title of the submission as name of the card. Let's look at an example data and find where we can get this. Here, the answers output provides all form answers and it has a title field. We can use this. Usually this will just be enough, but notice the answers contain every form field and we only want the title field. How are we going to get this? For cases like this, where you need to select a specific part of the data, you can use the expression button on the input. This button becomes visible when you hover the input. Click it and an input box will be shown. When you click the input box, you can see all form fields. Here, I will choose the title. This is it. The name input is set. Let's move on to the next input field, which is the description of the Trello card. Similarly, I will use the description field of the form. So I need to connect the answers output to this input. If you look at the Trello component, there is not an input port for the description. This means it is set to get its value from the info panel. We can just click this switch to get it from the automation diagram. Now we have an input port for description. We can do the same. Connect, add expression, select the description field. Next, position. It says this determines where the card will be placed. You can choose a value for this input, but it is optional, so I will skip this. Similarly, I will skip other optional inputs too. Let's select a list, and we are ready to run the automation. Before saving the automation, I highly recommend you to run the automation in the editor and test if it works as expected. Let's click the Run button. And we can see the card is created in Trello board with the title and description be provided. Our automation is ready. Let's give it a name and save. Since this time we didn't use the manual trigger, you won't see a Run button. Instead, you will see a Deploy button. When you save an automation, it doesn't immediately start working, because maybe you didn't finish working on the automation or you plan to use it later. So when you want to activate an automation, you need to deploy it. Click the Deploy button. Now our automation works. To test it, you can create a new form submission and see if a new card is created in the Trello board. Let's do this. We can see that our card is here. When Monkedo receives an event, it immediately starts the automation, and depending on which components you use, usually everything is completed within seconds. However, it may take some time for the event to be sent to Monkedo by the app you use. From some apps like JotForm, we get event data in seconds. From some other apps, it may take minutes. So if you don't see the results immediately here, don't worry, it will be there soon. Our automation is ready and working. Monkedo will listen to events and run the automation in the background for each form submission. This all happens in Monkedo servers, so you don't need to keep your computer on or keep your browser open. Now, let's look at how to update a deployed automation. Currently, there are no assigners on the cards. Let's say that you want to assign the new cards to a specific member of your team. Open the automation, select Trello component, select a member from the list. Now we can save the automation. Now the automation is saved, but currently the changes you made are not active. Monkedo is still running the previous version. In order to apply the changes, you need to redeploy the automation. Click the redeploy button. Now the automation is updated, and it will work with the new settings. If you don't want an automation to work, you can pause it. The automation will stop listening to events and won't run until you deploy it again. Click the pause button. Monkedo keeps the logs of each run. To see the logs, click the Run Statistics button. Here, you can see the run history of the automation. You can see when it was run, how long it took, and if there were any errors. This is how you deploy automations in Monkedo, and you can see status and history of each automation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. You can continue to watch our videos to learn more about Monkedo. Thanks for watching. See you next time.